Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are here in Nimsa in the Culinarian Guild to do our Heavensward Culinarian quest. Yeah, I actually just wanted to start the Stormblood quests, but then saw, wait, this is the Heavensward quest. I haven't done this yet? That means I haven't recorded it that yet, so, here we go! Okay, Master Linksav, what's going on? Wait on me. Well, if it ain't Desiree, ever a sight for sore eyes, lass. You've been keeping it cooking, I shouldn't doubt. Skilled as you are, though, I reckon it's a struggle for you to keep things interesting. If that's the case, and you're anchoring for a challenge, might be as I can introduce you to someone. You know the missing member? It's a tavern that's owned by Rosvan, the lady captain of the Sanguine Sirens. The entire crew is formed of members of the gentler sex, though gentle ain't the word I'd ever use to describe Battlelord. Anyway, the head waitress there got a task that calls for a consummate culinarian, and yours was the first name that come to mind. If you reckon you might be interested, take yourself over to the missing member and make yourself known to Melcoco. She'll tell you what she needs doing. Okay, so we are on loan to another restaurant. The missing member. Greetings and welcome to a missing member. Do you have a reservation, madam? No, I'm here to help you. You're Desiree of a Culinarian Guild. It's a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance. Linksav has told me all about you. I'm Melcoco, the head waiters of this fine establishment, and I'd like you to participate in the Dellemont d'Or, the most prestigious of all cooking contests. You see, the winner of a previous edition of a contest is none other than our head chef, Tia, and he's a bloody right bastard. I meant to say he's an insufferable man. But don't take my word for it, speak with him for yourself, and you'll understand. You find him inside the restaurant, doubtless with a self-satisfied look on his face. Here to dine, are you? Too bad. I cook only for the sirens or guests with reservations. I'm busy training for the award ceremony of the Dellemont d'Or. As this will be my second victory running, expectations will be higher than ever. Shall I play the unassailable champion carefree as you please? Or shall I be sentimental and triumph and shed tears of joy? No, wait. Now that I think on it, I could also show disgust at the lack of sport. But just too many ways to win. I trust you understand my meaning. Every word of his fairly oozes conceit, and it makes me want to shove a hot skillet down his smirking bunghole. Beg your pardon for the language, I forget myself sometimes. Now, as much as I hate to admit it, Tia is very good at what he does. Otherwise he wouldn't have won the Dellemont d'Or in the first place, nor would Captain Watson had fired him to treat her crew. Word of his culinary skills has since gotten out to the locals, and our place is now constantly booked out moons ahead. But all the fame and attention went to Tia's head. And these days he swaggers about as though he were the 12th gift to our taste buds. Why, if he doesn't like the look of a patron, he'll refuse to cook for them, and that's assuming he'll even turn up to work. Can you believe a gal of his son? Oh, but there I go again with my cussing. You must forgive me. At any rate, I trust you now understand why I want you to enter the Dellemont d'Or. So you can beat Tia and put him in his place. Such a heaping helping of poetic justice it will be. You've gotten the best of even the chef's bane. I'm confident that you have what it takes to win. Unless you worried, the contest won't be for a while yet, so you should have ample time to prepare. I'll have more details for you before long. Please come by again. Next quest is 53. Yeah, I'm 66, so that is not a problem. Melcoco. Glad tidings, Desiree. But Bismarck has been chosen to host the Dellemont d'Or. What better place to cook than in one's own kitchen? A member of a contest council has come to the Culinarian Guild to register participants. Please go and give him your name at once. That looks weird walking because the skillet is of course not attached to anything on my clothes and it just hangs there floating at my side. Culinarian's Guild, right. Contest council member. Greetings to you, good madam. Have you come to register to compete in the Dellemont door? Desiree Klingmore. Desiree Klingmore. Is that correct? Very good, madam. We look forward to seeing you on contest day. Okay, and back to Malcoco. You've registered your name? Excellent. Now you have but to prepare for the contest. Speaking of which, I have a task to help you get into form. One of our diners wished to have dessert, but there's nothing to her liking on the menu. She's been sitting here for a whole hour, unable to make up her mind. As the guild's foremost culinarian, I believe you'll be able to whip up something to suit her palate. To begin with, you'll want to inquire after her preferences. It's the steerswoman at the table on the right, in case I haven't already mentioned it. All these sweets look too damn sweet. Don't rush me. I can't make decisions under pressure. You make me a dessert what ain't on the menu. You're a godsend, sister. Here's the deal. I can't stand sweet things. Stuff makes me want to retch. Thing is, I've met a man who's perfect in all ways but one. Bloke got the sweetest bleeding tooth this side of Wilbrand. If we're to work out, I got to learn to eat sweets, or suppress the urge to gag at least. That's why I'm here, to train myself. This is my first time and all, so be gentle with me, eh? Make me something that ain't so sweet. Did I hear you rightly? She says she doesn't like sweets. Oh, that's bollocks. I wait if she's just afraid of what she doesn't know. Be gentle, sod that. Let's feed her something so brazenly sweet it'll blow the skeptic clean out of her. A summer tart made with a veritable mountain of fresh cream and sugar, accompanied with a rich cup of Ashgardian tea. That's your order, Desiree. Alright. Now, I prepared ingredients in advance. And it's a lot. Namely, this is all ingredients we will need. No, not the bananas. They are extra. Like I got for doing farming. But otherwise. However you make tea in a skillet. And the summer tart. So how's the summer tart and Ashgardian tea coming along? The tea and the tart. Yes. This stuff looks sweet as sin. What happened to being gentle? Listen here, Desiree happens to be one of Eorzea's finest culinarian. You ought to be honest she's cooking for your sorry ass. What's more, you want things to work out with your man or not? Alright, I try it. Bugger me, that was good. The chestnut wasn't nearly as cloying as I expected, and the cream underneath was a pleasant surprise. It was sweet, aye, but not too sweet. There was something else to it besides. Witchness? That? I don't know what else it's called. As for the tea, I craft as quickly as I drain my ale. Ain't much more to say about that. I don't fear sweets no more, and it's all thanks to the two of you. Things will work out between me and my man, I'm sure of it. Well, glad we could help. You've done it, Ezra. You've converted a skeptic. By holding back on the chestnut puree's sweetness, you helped her overcome her irrational fear and so introduced her to a whole new world of flavor. This does take me back. You mean? You will have guessed from my colorful language that I used to be a member of the Sanguine Sirens. Unfortunately, I was prone to seasickness and it never got better. As a result, I ended up grounded and waitressing for the missing member. At first, I loathed the work, hated my dreams were taken from me, just because I couldn't keep the contents of my stomach where they belonged. It was then, when I was wallowing in self-pity, that I first tasted Minasitia's cooking. It made me know that I was part of something special here. Back then, Minasitia was a simple man with simple passion. He wanted to be the pinnacle of his craft, and he worked tirelessly to reach it. But then he did, and it turned him into a stuck-up, self-loving sack of shite. Beg your pardon. My old mannerism tends to surface when I'm riled up. At any rate, thank you for your help today. Having now seen you in action, I look forward to the Dellemont with even greater relish. I'm out of inventory. Milk cocoa. Desiree, you got to hear this. That bastard Minasitia is depressed. Ain't that just grand? Captain Watson bade him invent a new type of soup, you see, and so he goes off and makes his fancy-ass chilled pottage. When it's ready, he serves it to her as smack as you please, but the instant she tastes it, her face goes dark as she says, "What the hell is this slop?" Oh, it was bleeding glorious, I tell you. Unfortunately, my pleasure was short-lived, for the captain was fixed her gaze on me. She ordered me to think up a piping hot soup, fairly barking as she did so, and until we made her something to her satisfaction, I fear she remained in a foul mood. Though she has her own place, Captain Watson often dines at the Bismarck in secret. I dare say Master Linksov has a good grasp of her preferences. Could you please find out from him a soup she is certain to like when prepared for her? Master Linksov, you know your guests, right? Well, hello there, Desiree. Your contest preparations are coming along well, so I hear. Seeing your art, it takes me back, it does. In my younger days, I participated in nigh every edition of a Dellemont. Why not enter again, you ask? Truth be told, I was sorely tempted, but me competing days are far behind me. Besides, I don't like me chances with you around. Anyway, what's that something you need? Captain Roswan anchoring for a piping hot soup, huh? Hardly surprising. Of late, the woman has been fairly obsessed with Ashgardian cuisine. And that's all I can tell you. Sorry for being sparse with the details, lass, but if you want to know more, you have to ask the good captain herself. That wasn't as helpful as I'd hoped. Anyway, Captain Roswan. Me? Obsessed with Ashgardian cuisine? Never heard nothing more ridiculous. I wouldn't be caught dead sharing an interest with Carvalane, much as study up on Ashgardian soups for a puffy-shuttered fop. Oh, bugger me. Alright, I'll tell you everything. I'm trying to set a trap for Carvalane. My plan's to lure the bastard over with his favorite dish and ply him with drink. And when he lowers his guard, I do for him. You so much as breathe a word of this to anyone, I'll cut out your blubbering tongue and have it served in a stew. Seeing as you're now in on the plan, might as well make use of you. I want you to go to Carvalane and ask after the best Ashgardian chef around. Once you've got a name, find the fellow and have him teach you how to make a traditional Ashgardian soup. Acting at Coco's behest, you say? Aye, well, do this for me, and I consider a task fulfilled. Now, you find Cavalain at the 7th stage. He has a bag of corn to help loosen his tongue. So, Captain Cavalain, you wish to know the name of best guardian chef in the land. I struggle to comprehend why you would ask me this of all question. I find my interest in your motive suddenly waning. It seems unlikely that this knowledge can be used to make mischief, so very well. As a well-traveled adventurer, you will doubtless be familiar with House Durandare of Ishgard. Its head chef is said to be the foremost authority in the cuisine of his native land. In seeking him out, aside from the obvious signs such as a garb, look for a golden bell upon his breast. It's the sigil of the house he serves. You wish to know his name? But there would be the fun in that. Now, as an accomplished culinarian, he will most likely have a taste for fine wines. When you meet a man making a gift of his bottle of Lomani's Red, say that it comes from an admirer from across the sea. From Shamani Lomani? The blind vintner formerly of a company of heroes? House Durandare chef. Indeed, I'm the head chef of House Durandare. What is it you require of me? A ridiculously expensive vintage, handcrafted by well-renowned winemaker Shamani Lomani of Wineport. A gift for you, sir, and a request. By the Fury, seldom do we enjoy fine vintage such as this. I was not aware I had admirers, let alone that they are so widespread as to be found in Limsa. You wish to learn a recipe for a traditional Ishgardian soup? You will find none more ubiquitous than beet soup. It graced the tables of all Ishgardians, warming the hearts and stomachs of lowborn and highborn alike. The ingredients, chief among them is the magma beet, are sliced and sauteed, after which the broth is added along with a seasoning. The concoction is then allowed to simmer until everything is stewed together and the broth takes on a rich crimson hue. Now, there are as many variations of the soup as there are people who make it, but the one nearest to my heart is that which my dear mother used to make. I was sickly as a child, you see, and she would add copious amount of vegetables in the hope that I would grow strong. Through her cooking I felt her love and everything tasted all the better for it. Call me a sentimental fool, but it's my belief that love is an essential ingredient in every dish. A final note, for those Ishgardians of means, beet soup is typically served alongside a Kaiser roll and grilled sea fish. I hope this information serves you well. My thanks again for the wine. Beet soup. Kaiser roll. And grilled sea fish. Sweet fish. Sweet fish is not a sea fish. So it says in the description. Alright. It also says sweet fish is not sweet. Do not be deceived by the name. Melkogom. Ah, there you are, Desiree. You were gone so long I was beginning to worry. Tell me, were you able to find the soup to please Captain Ruthven? Beet soup, the Kaiser roll, and grilled sweet fish. Thank you so much. So, this is a dish you'll use to lure Cavalain over with. I know all about her plan. It's hard not to hear the captain's impassioned rants when you're standing right outside the door. I won't mention this to her, though. To think she's still at it. going after Cavalaine, that is. When will she own up to her feelings? Stubborn as she is, probably never. And anyway, we shouldn't keep her waiting. Let's have her sample your handiwork, shall we? This soup's bleeding amazing. It tastes like home, even though I'd never tasted it till now. How else do you make it? Love. Let me get this straight. The secret ingredient's love? Sort of makes sense when you the way you put it. Makoko, go and let Master Tia know I want him to master this soup. Aye, aye, Captain. When will that girl own up to her feelings? She's right moony for a Master Tia. Yet here she's trying to bring him down. I know all about her plans. I mean, how couldn't I when she runs about him right outside the door with a voice that'll wake with that? Me, I don't give two shites about the contest. But I can't help but worry for Melcoco. Seems to me she hasn't thought things through. Well, funny you say that, huh? Because she said something similar about you. Which we of course won't tell her. Anyway, love meat tender. Doubtless you're wondering what became of Captain Roswin's plot. Well, shortly after you left, she invited Cavalaine to her ship for dinner. Alas, he was suspicious of her intent from the first and refused to put anything in his mouth. He just sat there poking and prodding his meal. Ah, what a bloody waste. For all the talk of offing him, it wasn't a trap at all. If only she weren't so goddamn proud of it, step-on. And that's the only news I have to share. Alright, Linksav was looking for you. He seemed to be in a spot of bother, so you'd best go and see what's afoot. Linksav. Good master. Thank you for coming this way. I realize you're busy preparing for the contest and all, but I need your help with something. You see, Master Dellemont's due to come and inspect the Bismarck. I don't doubt you see the connection, but he's a founder of a contest and a living legend of cooking. But most importantly for you, he's also the judge. Anyway, I got me hands full trying to sort the place out before Master Dellemont arrives. Thing is, an old friend of mine's come to dine any moment now, and I can't peel myself away from my work long enough to look after him. I'd be obliged if you could prepare his meal in his stead. The man loved meat since he was a young pirate, but age taking his toll, and he's got hardly any teeth left. That being the case, I want you to cook something that's meaty but tender. A nice serving of cockatrice meatballs, say. Thanks in advance, Desiree. Cockatrice meatballs. Also, cockatrice meatballs coming along. Here it is. Welcome to the Bismarck, Master Dellemont. We're honored for your visit. You must be Linksav's foremost student. I have heard much and more about your exploit, and you are in the midst of serving a customer. Pray, do not mind me. So, how do you like it, old friend? It's so tender it crumbles in my mouth, but it's still everything I love about meat. The taste, the texture, the juiciness. That's to say, I love it. He was a captain of his own ship back in the days, was strong as an ox too. But age robbed him of his strength along with most of his teeth, and he couldn't eat all the stuff he loved no more. Seeing him happy like that, It'll bring a tear to my eye. Thank you, Desiree. I'm pleased to see that all is smooth sailing for Bismarck. Master Dellemont, it's been a while. I was told you would be visiting this day, and I wish to pay my respects. Ah, if it isn't the reigning champion. You surpassed all expectations last time, and I fully expect that you will do so again. Who do you think you're fooling with that false modesty? You're participating in the Dellemont door too, yes? Do yourself a favor, don't bother preparing a speech. You won't get a chance to use it. Why, you arrogant... Desiree is the guild's best culinarian I have, you know. You've got nothing on her. So, Desiree competes for the honor of a guild. That's all well and good, but how about you compete for something more tangible? This restaurant, for instance? Done. But if you lose, you got to swear to give up being a culinarian. Master Dellemont, may we ask you to stand as witness to this agreement? Wait, what? A restaurant at a calling. Such high stakes will serve to liven up the contest. I look forward to seeing how this unfolds. I didn't just imagine that, did I? Nope. Malcoco wagering with Bismarck on your winning the Dellemont door? Not to say I don't believe in you, lass, but this place and hers to wager. Ah, God's bloody damn it. This is awkward, because as Master Lynx has said, this isn't Malcoco's restaurant, she can't bet it. And doing so is incredibly rude, not to say reckless. The spirit of hospitality. It's begun, Desiree. But Dellemont door. In case you didn't already know, Master Dellemont is notoriously difficult to impress. In the entire history of a contest, nobody has ever been awarded a full 10 points, and even respected chefs typically get only 4. This time I believe it will be a 2-chocobo race between you and Menacitia. Now then, before you do aught else, we will need to know the particulars such as main ingredient and theme. Please go to the Bismarck and have them from Master Dellemont. Master Dellemont. There you are, my friend. According to the registry, you are our final contestant. This year, the main ingredient is meat. It does not matter what kind. This is to be used in the main course, which you must present with an appetizer and a dessert. As for a theme, it is hospitality. Prepare your dishes in the spirit of this theme and present them to the council member yonder. Best of luck to you. Meat and hospitality. Bugger, this is a tough one. The main ingredient is as broad as they come, and the theme is abstract to boot. It also worries me that you are the last contestant. Among other things, Master Dellemont is famous for his bottomless stomach, but even he would be hard-pressed to keep his appetite whetted after endless plates of meat. Well, I suppose we'll just have to trust in his objectivity. Now then, what do you have in mind for an appetizer? Something to aid digestion. Ah, indeed. In which case I believe mushrooms are a sound choice. Yes, let's go with a light and refreshing moral salad. Moving on, what will you do for the all-important main course? A dish that's flavorful and succulent. What would fit the bill? Ah, I have it. Deep fried okeanis. Now, for this dish, the breading is the key to success, but it's also very difficult to get right. Please ensure that it turns out light and crisp. And last but not least, the dessert. Your summer tart was so well received. What do you think about making it again? Something small, decisively sweet after the rich food. Ah, so something that can be enjoyed even on a full stomach. In which case, I wholeheartedly recommend a serving of maroon glaze. And with that, our course is decided. The rest is up to you, Desiree. When you've prepared all 3 dishes, present them to the contest council member at the Bismarck. I shall pray for your success. A mole salad? Deep fried okeanos. And maroon glaze. And off to the venue. If your dishes are ready, I shall lay them out for Master Dellemont. I was just awarded the highest score in the history of the Dellemont door. The Bismarck's as good as mine. Aren't you getting ahead of yourself? Desiree can still beat your 9 bloody points. Master Dellemont will never award a perfect 10. It would be tantamount to declaring that his legend has been surpassed. Not a decision to be made lightly. Without further ado, Master Dellemont, the score if you would. 8 points, meaning that victory goes to... No, it's 9 points. We have a tie at the highest score ever awarded. Perfect 10. We have a winner. Desiree Kling of her first perfect 10 in history. How can this be, Master Dellemont? You were shaking your head. It was not out of disappointment, I assure you. Nay, I was simply coming to terms with reality. The reality that the Culinarian has finally appeared who surpasses me. First of all, the appetizer. After a long day of judgment, the mushroom helps to absorb the grease that had collected in my stomach, giving it a new lease on life. An act of consideration worthy of a most devoted of mothers. Then came the main course, sticking my teeth into the breading, delightfully crisp, light and crisp, My tongue was greeted with a harmony of flavors which burst forth from the succulent cut of Oceanus beneath. What great love went into making it tender was plain in my senses. And finally, dessert. Truth be told, by this time I was ripe to burst, but compact as it was, I could comfortably squeeze in the marron glaze, whose concentrated sweetness served as a perfect accent to a wonderful meal. From the first bite to the last, I felt the spirit of hospitality. In the end, it was Desiree's interpretation of a theme which divided her from the field. Rather than striving to astonish with her handiwork, she kept the diner foremost in her mind. Consideration worthy of a most devoted mother. That's something you learned through the Ishgardian beet soup. And it seems to me you made the Oceanus specially tender by marinating it, like you made the cockatrice meatballs from a friend. Menacetia, your dishes were magnificent, make no mistake. None could doubt that great skill went into their creation. However, more so than a thing to be created, thing is a food to be eaten. You had forgotten this, and it made all the difference. I've lost. As promised, I'll give up being a culinarian. Nothing be wait! Congratulations, my friend, and thank you. For the first time in a long while, I had tasted food that satisfied not only my senses, but my soul as well. I look forward to seeing you again, not as judge and contestant, but as peers. Bismarck's safe thanks to you. If Melkoko pulls the same shite again, though, I'm throwing her off the upper decks. And speaking of a girl, might be as you should check up on her and Amacitia. They went off in the direction of a missing member. You can't just give up. But you're the one who wanted me to. You made me swear it. I only did it because it was your... I only did it because you were shirking your duties. I wanted the old Massey B back, the one who'd work at his cooking every making moment. Fool of a Lalafell. I was shirking so I could prepare for the contest in secret. I didn't want to betray any hint of the effort to my rivals. The unassailable champion. That's the aura I wanted to exude. So dreamy. I mean, I beg you, Nazi. Don't give up being a culinarian. I can't bear the thought of not being able to eat your cooking no more. Well, if my melly belly insists, I suppose there's nothing for it but to keep doing what I do best. Well, you keep it down. We've all had a gutful of your lover's farce. So you didn't win, that's too bad. What do you intend to do now? Captain, if you will permit it, I would beg leave of your service for a time. This adventurer possesses something I do not. In joining the realm as she does, I hope that I will come to possess it as well. If that's what you want, then I won't stop you. But what about Makoko here? You're just gonna leave her behind? If you make her cry, I won't hesitate to make this place live up to its name. I must leave your side for a while, Melly Belly. But upon my honor, I swear that I'll return to you and make you proud. I know you will, Masibi. I'll wait for you, forever and a day. Finally, some peace and quiet. I owe you an apology, Desiree. It was wrong of me to embroil you in my personal affairs. But it wasn't altogether bad. You were a positive influence on Mercy and me. Thanks to you, he was reminded of what it means to be a culinarian, and I've come to love my job even more than I already did. All of this was made possible through your cooking. You've taken a humble thing and given it the power to change lives. Thank you, Desiree, for being an inspiration to us all. And a belated congratulations for winning the Dellemont d'Or. A more worthy champion there has never been. This concludes the Culinarian quest for Heaven's Ward. We continue in Stormblood. From Linksaf. Alright. Desiree, you gotta hear this. Since he lost to you and left on his journey, Master Piers hasn't sent me a single letter. Not a bloody one. Even when he's not around, he manages to piss me off. In other news, I've begun helping out in the kitchen. Seems to be the most natural thing to do. Just you watch Desiree next. It'll be me that humbles that cocksure whoreson. In other words, you miss him already. Anyway, that was the Heaven's Ward Culinarian quest. Until next time, when we play more Final Fantasy XIV, I am Ace and don't get lost.